So I'm waiting for my car to get fixed and doing my best not to make eye contact with all the white folks. Yes, of course, Trump is mentioned in my book because the personal is the political is the personal. In any case, here's a passage from my new book, The Worst Kind of Girl. This is from chapter 3, An Imagined or Remembered Melody. The shoot was down in Desert Hot Springs. They set up in the open desert beneath wind turbines that sent shadows looping across the sand. Snow-capped Mount Jacinto rose up in the distance, semis barreled east and west on the I-10, and a steady stream of cars and trucks passed us here on the shortcut from Palm Springs to the Morongo Grade, which twisted up through rocks to Yucca Valley and beyond. The sky was bright blue and the heat was searing, even in early May. The commercial was supposed to be some sort of candy-colored pop-up rave in the desert, attended by an assortment of gorgeous young models. The director told them to pretend they were having the time of their lives, high on club drugs and good vibes. The director said, just, dance. There was no music, so they looked insane. The DJ booth looked like it was constructed of weathered desert trash, railroad ties and truck parts, rusty metal beer cans, and a wagon wheel. In truth, it was all painted plywood. Seth stood inside the booth, pouring red diet drink mix into gold solo cups and handing them out to partiers. They were all much younger, of course. Seth and I had talked about how bewildering it was sometimes to realize we were the old farts now. Wasn't it last week we were the young dancers? Well, some of us never danced, but we did spin delirious through our 20s, enjoying the party with or without music. And then suddenly here we were, 50 years old or worse, midway to nothing great. Now we were uncool and the party was not for us. Some of us looked like moms and dads. Seth was a dad, but he didn't look like one. No, at this party he was the creepy older guy, handing out red drinks in gold solo cups. Seth looked over at me, and I saw how nervous he was, so I gave him a thumbs up. The director asked for everyone's attention as he described what he wanted for the next scene, where the dancers would toss their cups into the air, showering everyone in a red rain of diet drink mix that would make them laugh uproariously. He wanted them ecstatic and smiling and dancing and having fun, fun, fun. They would add confetti and glitter in post. "It'll look like a fucking bloodbath," shouted a man standing behind me. I hadn't noticed him until then. "I'm sorry, did you have something to share with the group?" said the director, clearly pissed. "Who are you exactly, on my set?" "I'm Max, the tent guy." Seth squinted in our direction. The cowboy said, "When I have a question about tents, I'll be in touch. 15 minutes, everybody. We'll use orange flavor, not cherry." Seth called, "Cowboy Max, is that you?" "Seth Gladstone, as I live and breathe," said the man who moved around me to go shake Seth's hand. Seth laughed at that, and I could feel his relief. "Max, I'm glad it's you, seeing me like this. You were never a snob." "Fuck no," said Cowboy Max. When finally they were done, Seth came over to me and Max. By then I was trying to ignore Max because he'd started to flirt. I felt the chemistry, too. Sure, I always felt it. But I was tired. "Cowboy Max, how the hell are you?" asked Seth when he got over to us. He hugged Max with genuine affection. "Last I heard, you were the resident playwright at that theater in L.A. What was their name?" "Who cares?" said Max. "We put on good shows for a while. Then it was over. And I forget the rest." "That's how you live with no regrets, friend," said Max. "Max here is one of the most talented writers I've ever met," Seth told me. "And now I sit in the desert and collect stuff," said Max, "and rent it out. Today it was tents." "What? Seriously?" said Seth. "You had a great career." "I'm telling you, brother, I got saved out here." You believe in God now or something? Only I spell it nature, said Max. Frank Lloyd Wright, Seth said. I recognize that quote. You got it, brother. Nah, it just occurred to me on or about November 8th, 2016, that my fellow countrymen had lost their damn minds and could not be counted on to behave rationally. I was deeply sad and profoundly pissed. I said, fuck it, to all of it. Our entire hyper-capitalist, work till you're dead, hoard your money, consumerist culture. That was bad enough, but now we're going to hand ourselves over to fascism? To some racist, misogynist fucking clown they recognize from TV? Just no thank you. I decline. I prefer not to. Melville, said Seth. Yes, Seth. Very impressive, Max said. I escaped to the desert to ride out Donald Trump's misbegotten presidency. I said, I've heard worse plans. Cowboy Max looked at me. He said, I bet you have. The wind picked up as the last of the equipment and trash was packed into the film crew's rental van. Seth and I walked to where we'd parked, and Max followed us like he might climb into Seth's truck or my SUV. Max said to Seth, my credo is, be fucking nice. Then he gave Seth a bear hug and slapped him on the back. To yourself, first and foremost. You do seem happy, said Seth, if a little whacked out. No doubt, brother, no doubt, Max said, laughing until he fell into a coughing fit. How else to be, though, in this terrible world? Whacked out but happy. Surviving. Seth asked, Hey, did you end up marrying that girl? What was her name? No, said Max. I would have been a lousy husband. Luckily, I realized that in time. I wouldn't do that to her or anyone I loved. My goal now is just to have a complete romance, beginning, middle, and end without any ugliness, an entire relationship without one single regrettable word or action. I want to know if that's possible. That's what success would look like to me, brother. When Max walked away, Seth said, apparently the desert fried his brain. But I could tell that Cowboy Max got to Seth, reminded him of something. What did success look like to Seth, I wondered. Not like whatever that was today. I said, let's stop at a dispensary and get some weed before we head back up the hill. Fuck yeah, said Seth, echoing his happy friend.